Unlock and open the door or door panels. To replace the weather strip on the inactive panel, grasp the weather strip and pull it out of the weather strip kerf. The replacement weather strip comes in lineal length, and each end must be trimmed and the weather strip cut to length. Starting on one end, use scissors or side cutters to trim an approximate 3/8 inch notch out of the barbs on the end of the weather strip. Beginning on one end, insert the weather strip into the kerf in the same orientation as it was removed. Press the weather strip into the weather strip kerf along the length of the astragal. When at the other end, cut the weather strip to length. Use scissors or side cutters to cut an approximate 3/8 inch notch out of the barbs on the end of the weather strip. Press the weather strip into place in the weather strip kerf. The replacement of one of the jam weather strips is shown in this video. Open the panel to completely access the frame weather strip. The frame weather strip replacement process is similar for the head, sill, and jam weather strip. Grasp the weather strip and pull it out of the weather strip kerf. Replacement weather strip comes in lineals and must be cut to length. The jam weather strip must be cut to a 45-degree angle on each end. The weather strip on the head and sill are cut at 90 degrees with a 1/2 inch notch in the barbs on the end of the weather strip. Cut a 45-degree angle on one end. Beginning on one end, insert the weather strip into the kerf in the same orientation as it was removed. Press it in along the length of the jam. For this jam weather strip, using scissors or side cutters, trim the weather strip to length and then cut the 45-degree angle on the weather strip end. To accomplish this cut, the end of the weather strip leaf is cut at a 45-degree angle, and this will overlap the head or sill weather strip. Then the weather strip barbs is cut where the 45-degree cut began. Push the weather strip into place. In this video, sill weather strip replacement is demonstrated. Head weather strip replacement is similar. Grasp one end of the sill weather strip and pull it to remove it from the weather strip kerf. A best practice is to remove any sealant residue in each corner of the sill, as sealant may have been applied when the previous weather strip was installed to keep its ends in place. For head and sill weather strip, use scissors or side cutters to trim an approximate 1/2 inch notch out of the barbs on each end of the weather strip. Beginning with the trim end, insert the weather strip barbs into the weather strip kerf. Work along the length of the sill, pushing the weather strip barbs into the kerf. At the other end of the sill weather strip, use scissors or side cutters to trim the weather strip to length. Then cut the 1/2 inch notch out of the barbs of the weather strip. Push the weather strip into place. Depending on the weather strip, it may be necessary to apply a bit of sealant in the kerf on each end. Then insert the weather strip barbs in the sealant and apply some painter's tape to hold the weather strip ends in place until the sealant sets up. Leave the painter's tape in place for at least 24 hours. Close the door panels. Lock the door.